Welcome back to the Metal Gear The Complete Story series. Today we end this long and complicated game with our final episode. We will be back with a special bonus episode about Metal Gear Rising, but it won't be coming out until the last of the DLC finally launches. If you didn't watch the first 4 parts, you should probably do that before watching this one, so click anywhere on this video to one of the 4 parts in front of it. Oh yeah, and here's a fast version of our disclaimer. If you're watching this episode, I assume you've seen the rest. So the purpose of this series is to allow you to walk into a room and discuss the core elements of the Metal Gear storyline. That means you're skipping over a lot of the inner workings that make each game so damn epic. Let's take a second to go over where all of the principal cast is at, so that way you understand where everyone is going into the last title in the storyline. Big Boss is in a coma on ice held by the Patriots. Major Zero is old and for all intents and purposes retired and crippled and in a wheelchair and old. Ocelot has escaped again and has replaced his liquid hand with a cybernetic one. The Patriots are 5 AI units controlling the entire US government, one of which has been killed through a computer virus. Solid Snake is currently in hiding. Again. Raiden has vowed revenge on the Patriots for controlling his life. Liquid Snake is technically dead, but through nanomachines living in Ocelot's head. Solidus is officially dead. No, seriously, this guy actually is dead. Lastly, Ava, the surrogate mother for the Big Boss clones and Big Boss's partner from the original title, will be making a return. 2014. So this is it, the last game in the series. We've started in 1935 with the birth of Big Boss, and have gone all the way to 2014. If you stayed with me this whole time, I applaud you, sir, or woman, or child, or monster. We'll go over one final recap at the end, but let's dive into the big war and the final battles of the main series storyline. The world is now run by private military companies, with the 5 biggest being run by Ocelot, still acting like Liquid. With all the power in his hands, the UN wants Ocelot assassinated, and they call in the only man that they know can do it, Solid Snake. Due to the fox die and a few illnesses, Solid Snake has accelerated aging and looks to be almost 60 at this point. He's been told he only has a year to live. In his first attempt to assassinate Ocelot, Solid Snake fails, but finds out Naomi Hunter is being held captive by him. Solid Snake mounts a rescue mission, and upon saving her, she explains that Ocelot plans to use Big Boss's biometric data as a key to access the Patriots' core AI. This will give him complete control of all the nanomachines in the entire world, which in turn will give him control of the world. Naomi also explains that the Foxdie virus left in Solid Snake's system is mutating and will soon become uncontrollable, killing everyone around him. He'll basically become a walking biological weapon. Boy, he's aging fast and dying soon, and now he's a walking weapon. This guy just can't catch a break, can he? After quite a few fights, Solid Snake and Naomi are assisted by a now cyborg ninja version of Raiden and escape. Yep, that's right, he's a cyborg ninja now. Don't question how this works, Japan just does this kind of thing. Naomi explains that the remains of Big Boss are being housed by an Eastern European group, which is led by Ava, going by the codename Big Mama. Through a series of events, Solid Snake fails to stop Ocelot from getting the remains of Big Boss. Ocelot takes control of all the nanomachines in the world, which allows him to basically turn off every army but his own. With that, he flees the scene, heading towards Shadow Moses in an attempt to use the old Metal Gear railgun from the original Metal Gear Solid. He wants to use this to blow out the Patriots once and for all, and this is just about the only way he can do it, to use a nuclear-armed railgun to blow up their core center. After a few Metal Gear on Metal Gear fights, Ocelot takes the railgun and begins to prep his nuclear strike on the Patriots. In a final last-ditch effort, Solid Snake and Raiden stop the launch of the nuclear weapon and proceed to plant a computer virus created by Naomi in the AI core of the ship. With the AI core connected to the world of nanomachines, which are connected to the Patriots AI, the virus destroys all of the AIs in the entire world. But the virus left all bare necessities for modern civilization to survive. With all nanomachines and AIs destroyed in the world, Solid Snake awakes to find Ocelot standing over him, still controlled by Liquid Snake's personality. They have one final fight, with Solid Snake winning, of course. Did you really think otherwise? So before we run into the epilogue for most of the characters, for those of you who are really lost right now, basically what happened is the Patriots AI was controlling all of the armies in the entire world, except for the ones run by Ocelot. So the quick and easy version of what happened is they put a virus within the Patriots AI. The Patriots AI, being connected to every nanomachine in the world, then shut everything down. The entire world no longer has nanomachines or cyborg parts or anything like that, and every army is now free to roam and do its own thing or be a part of its own nation. So with the Patriots gone and all of the nanomachines dead, no one can possibly be controlled by some super secret organization any longer. Everyone is free to be their own soldier, their own person, and their own man or woman. So let's move on to the conclusion for our characters. Meryl and Roy Campbell decided to reconcile and made amends. Ryden makes amends with Rose, and even though she was working for the Patriots, he decides to settle down with her, because it's the only girl he's probably gonna get. Ocelot, in case you guys hadn't figured it out, died on the top of the Metal Gear in the final fight with Solid Snake. And Solid Snake, he vanishes, though he only arrives at Big Boss's grave. To prevent himself from becoming a super biological weapon, and since he's going to die in a year anyway due to his advanced aging, he's decided he'll commit suicide. But what? There's more! Big Boss arrives with a man in a wheelchair. Yup, you heard me right, folks. Big Boss, the man who was supposedly dead, supposedly nothing but a corpse that was being used to unlock Patriot AIs, a man who supposedly was on ice and never to walk again, just kinda walked up. But don't worry, Big Boss explains. Apparently, the body that everyone is fighting over was actually the remains of Solidus. That's why he didn't show up in the final game. Which, since Solidus is a clone of Big Boss, they share the same genetic information. He also reveals that the Patriots were originally an interpretation of the Boss's will, founded by Major Zero, Ava, Ocelot, Big Boss, and a few others that I've never mentioned in the storyline. As their power increased, two rival factions within the Patriots arose. Zero, who wanted to take complete control of the world and have control over everybody, and Big Boss, who wanted more of a soldier's world. He also explains that Ocelot purposely implanted Liquid's personality in himself using nanomachines, hypnosis, and drugs, and Liquid Snake was actually not there. The purpose of implanting Liquid Snake's personality within himself was to fool the Patriot AIs. But he goes on to explain that while Ocelot initially had implanted the memories of Liquid Snake in himself to fool the AIs, that once he had removed Liquid Snake's actual arm after the Manhattan incident, that this caused a break in Ocelot's psyche. So at the beginning, this intended to be a ruse to fool the Patriot AIs. In the end, Ocelot actually believed he had become Liquid Snake. And with that, he explains further, explaining that Zero allowed the AIs to take control, which has led to a world dependent upon the war economy, which is far from the original vision that the boss had had. With that, he shuts off the life support of the man in the wheelchair, who is Major Zero, and officially ends their war. Big Boss continues though, saying that Solid Snake had recently been injected with more nanomachines that contained a new strain of the Foxdie virus, engineered by the Patriot AIs to eradicate all the old strands of Foxdie and kill the rival faction. Thus, by being in Solid Snake's presence, Big Boss is now dying of the Foxdie, and Solid Snake's original version is gone, so he will no longer become a biological weapon. Yes, I know it's slightly confusing, but it does work in Solid Snake's favor. With that, Big Boss dies, stating that Major Zero, Liquid Snake, Solidus Snake, and even himself all just wanted to be free of the way the world was in their own ways. Each of them was achieving their own versions of the boss's original dream. But in the end, he states that all the boss truly wanted was to leave the world as it was. With that, he reconciles with Snake and dies in his arms. Taking his father's words to heart, Solid Snake vows to live his life out long enough to see what the future holds for the new world that he helped create. And that's it, folks. We've come to the end of the entire Big Boss and Solid Snake saga. That is until they release more games later this year. Stick around to the end of our quickie recap, because you'll get to vote on the next series that we're going to be covering. Now, as for a massive recap up to this episode, go watch the end of the last episode. There's a link right down below here for you. As for the final recap, here it is. Metal Gear Solid is about one soldier's legacy, the boss. Big Boss and his friend Major Zero attempted to carry out her legacy in their own manners. In order to propel his vision forward, Zero had Solid Snake cloned from Big Boss. Then, as he grew older, he left the vision and the goal in the hands of an AI system. The AI systems took one step further and attempted to rule the world. In the end though, Solid Snake defeats the Patriot AIs before they can rule the world. It is then that we learn the boss's true vision was to just leave the world alone. Solid Snake had a counter virus to destroy the one that was going to kill him. And with that, he goes off to live his last year on this earth, planning to see just how the world has changed thanks to everything he's done. With the end of this series, make sure you go check out the Zelda complete story and our weekly improv videos. We spend a lot of time running live skits in front of most of our reviews also, and we plan on bringing those skits to the beginning of our improv comedies as we phase out the ones that don't have it. If you want just normal Let's Plays from us though, go to the bonus channel. Alright, if you've stayed around this long, I applaud you once again. Help us decide on the next story series. Your options are Dark Souls, Kingdom Hearts, Resident Evil, or Angry Birds. Put your comment down below and let us know what game you want us to cover next. Next Monday, we'll put out a trailer to announce what was decided. And then the following week, the new series will begin to take the place of where the Metal Gear story was going. Oh, and one last thing, to end the Metal Gear story series on a nice high note, comment down below on what your favorite moment in the entire Metal Gear series was, along with your vote of what story you want us to do next. And before you ask, yes, we will be coming back with the Metal Gear Rising story once the DLC is done. Thanks again, and have a good night.